Let's make some miniature gingerbread cookies from polymer clay. These are perfect to decorate your dollhouse for the holidays and to give it that Christmas feel. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for all things dollhouse and miniature. And here are some of the supplies that I used to make these. I did mix some of my own polymer clay from the brand Sculpey. And I used these really tiny plastic cookie cutters to get the perfect shape every time from my clay. I used some of this white liquid clay from the brand Sculpey to create some frosting. I have these wood squares that I'm going to use as my cutting blocks and some miniature rolling pins. Links to all of these supplies that I use are down below in the description. For my gingerbread color clay, I ended up mixing quite a few different colors together to get that nice gingerbread color. You don't need as much of the dark one as I have here, but I ended up just mixing yellow, orange, brown, and some tan clay to get that nice color that I wanted. And then I just kept running the clay through my clay pasta machine to mix the colors as well as to flatten it out perfectly to the thickness that I wanted. Place the clay on my glass cutting mat, and I prefer glass cutting mats to use as a surface for cutting out clay. I grabbed my miniature clay cookie cutters out of their box and started pressing them down into the clay to cut out the shape that I wanted. This set came with 4 different cookie cutter designs: a gingerbread, a star, a Christmas tree, and a winter glove. These are all really cute and perfect for a holiday or Christmas theme cookies. I made sure that they were pressed in all the way so that there wouldn't be any leftover clay, and then I just tore the extra clay away. I'll save the extra clay to make some more of them. The clay did get stuck a little bit inside of each of the cookie cutters. To prevent the clay from getting stuck inside the cookie cutters, I ended up having to redo that first set. So what I did was I pressed my entire roll of clay onto the mat so it was a little bit stuck, and then I pressed the cookie cutters. And this way they were stuck on the mat, and then I ended up just using this one sharp tool to gently remove them, and that's how I was able to get them out of the cookie cutter. They did end up having some extra clay around the edges, so I used my silicone tool to press the clay in and to give it a nice smooth shape all around. I placed all of the clay cookies onto a sheet of foil and then placed them into the oven to bake. For the next step, I started getting some of the white liquid polymer clay ready, and I just poured some of it onto some extra foil that I had. I used a toothpick to apply the liquid polymer clay onto the clay cookie. One method that I used was to place a few drops in the center and then spread out the frosting to the edges. I placed the liquid clay onto about half of the miniature cookies. I decided to leave some of them uncovered. I liked having a variety of different styles of miniature cookies. Using this technique is also a great way to cover up any imperfections that come out in the clay. Sometimes you end up with some bubbles after baking it, or some cracks, or just any kind of imperfection. So this is a really good tip if you can't get your clay to be perfect. I then place them in the oven again, and here is how they look after they are baked and it is no longer liquid on the top. After baking, the frosting is also no longer shiny, which I kind of liked when it was shiny. I could always put a glaze on the top. Having the frosting does make it look a lot more realistic and like a gingerbread cookie with some frosting on the top. This was a really quick and easy miniature project to make that'll look so cute inside of a dollhouse, diorama, or miniature holiday scene. Having these miniature cookie cutters was so helpful, and being able to make a lot of these miniature cookies at once. I should have added some texture to the cookies just using some of my clay tools to make them look more realistic, especially the plain gingerbread cookies without the frosting. I think that adding texture while the clay was still wet would have made them look a lot more realistic, but that's for another time. Let me know down below in the comments how you think these miniature cookies turned out. As always, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.